This is one of the craziest tapes that I have ever seen. And if I have to watch it, then you have to watch it too. Okay guys, welcome back to Fast Ship Performance then. My name is Tim Davies. As you can see, we are back in the attack shack, dropping truth bombs on your personal battlefields, helping you to win the wars you are fighting. We're talking about diversity again. We're going to get straight into that flight tape now. I think it explains itself.
History Month, Tui today has an all-black flight crew and an all-black cabin crew. So give yourselves a big cheer. Woo!
Yeah, they're all junglies.
And that fine gentleman you saw there hopefully wasn't the captain. I don't know where he's going to put his headset if he was, but when he said they're all junglers, I'm assuming he meant they were all from 846 Naval Air Squadron flying the Merlin helicopter. It looks a little bit like that, and these guys are called junglies because they normally deploy in thick undergrowth of the Americas or Indo-Pacific, which gives the junglies their nickname. Absolute fine people throughout. The problem that we've got though, as I'll show you in a minute, is that we do follow Americana blue jeans and chinos, but you can see here, and I did campaign against this as well, back in 2022 the Royal Air Force did put up an all-female flight crew, and I said at the time that's not the safest flight crew in the world. Now guys, I have trained women and men on this airplane, or these airplanes here, and I trained them to be the best they possibly could. And you know, some women were good and some women were bad. Same with the men. If you just pick one demographic and you put them in the cockpit, by definition, of course, you don't look at the talents of the remainder. And what we then see, of course, is a lack of inclusivity. So if we were to put that all-black TUI flight crew that we saw at the beginning together with, say, the all-female flight crew that the Royal Air Force insisted in flying over those football championships back in 2022. What we can get to, of course, is what American Airlines did back in the same year. All black women crew operated American Airlines flight from Dallas in honor of trailblazer Bessie Cohn. Bessie Cohn was a trailblazer. She was, I think, the first black American woman to own a flight license, international flight license. She was actually killed, unfortunately, in one of the flights. It wasn't her fault. There was a mechanical issue with the airplane. However, again, what you've got here is not only have you got rid of white men, you've got rid of any man at all, and so you've got a very small cohort demographic, and you'd have to ask yourself, how many black women are there in American Airlines to make up an entire crew? And you may get some of those girls may not be the best, some of them may be absolutely rubbish, but we're going to chuck them on for the sake of diversity. Forget about inclusivity, of course, because we're not allowed any men in here, and we're not allowed any white men. This is why it's so stupid, guys. Let's really look down then at some real comprehensive documentation that proves how idiotic forcing diversity into these safety critical flight practices it really is. Now, you know, I campaigned heavily against the RF diversity targets where they discriminated against white men, and they actually came out and they apologized and they compensated white men whose careers they had stagnated in the Royal Air Force. Now Maria Byford is gone. Mike Wigston is gone. These people are out of the service now. Unfortunately, they were able to retire. They weren't sacked. It is what it is. Let it go. There is the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development that have released 2 reports. Now, these were sent to me by a very, very accomplished young pilot. I used to be on a squadron where this guy could have gone places. He's chosen to leave the service. I'm not too sure why, but he sent them to me. He said, have a look at these, Tim, will you? I know you're into this stuff. I said, I will have a look at them, mate, and I did. Now, there's 2 sections to this document. The first one is a scientific summary, and we're just going to type in the word diversity, and I'm just going to show you in here what it actually means when it talks about certain elements that we're going to find in the main document. And you can see here from the papers that it uses in its analysis, it says here there is no relationship between biodemographic diversity and the quality of team performance. Now, what does biodemographic diversity means? It refers to the observable characteristics of a group of people, such as their age, gender, race, or ethnicity. So if we look at the main document, and this really is the practice summary and recommendations, and here we talk about team effectiveness, and you can see from this paragraph here, any positive relationships between diversity and effectiveness are small. The relationship can even be negative, since diversity can adversely affect team cohesion and behaviors such as communication. Organizations should nevertheless still strive for diversity in teams for ethical reasons. even if it does not improve their effectiveness. So for some organizations, such as you're working, at the office with David Brent, absolutely, for ethical reasons, you might want to bring elements of diversity into that. Let's go and recruit the black guy. Let's go and recruit the woman. Let's get the disabled person, because you're not going to fly into a mountainside upside down and kill 300 people down the back. But when you're looking at safety critical industries, such as the one that I was in when I was obviously teaching these people on jets, you have to throw that stuff out the window, because your team will not be more effective. And actually says here, there's no positive relationship between diversity and effectiveness, or they're very, very, very small. Okay, and let's not forget this paper back from 2016. They already knew that diversity programs fail. This is from the Harvard Business Review, and what it highlights here is that mandatory diversity training and programs often backfire, creating resistance rather than fostering inclusion. The paper explains that forcing managers into compliance can trigger defensiveness, entrenched biases, while voluntary engagement and managerial accountability are indeed more effective. Guys, I hope that is enough for you. Let's just finish this then. We're looking at how small children look at diversity. I think we all know the answer. I'll play you out with this anyway. But guys, I really appreciate it. Let's all take a measured approach to this. Hopefully it's dying a bit of death. We can get back to the meritocracy that we all demand and we all need. Tim Davies, Fast Jet Performance.